like being a full-time dad these days?
I mean, it's great, man. Two beautiful kids. My son's home with me every day because I'm off with home. But
that's the move, dude.
Yeah.
You know, I was when I podcasted with Jim Howe and Mike Rogers. Jim, he said, he goes, everywhere my dad went, I went with him when he was a little kid, everywhere. And that made me think, you know, is that how it used to be? You know, where the dad really just drugged the little boy around everywhere?
Well, not predominantly in my community.
Well, yeah, you know what I'm saying, though. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, if the dad was there.
If the dad was there, yeah. You gotta look up to somebody.
I know, like, I wonder. You know what I mean? I grew up with a stepdad, and he didn't show up until later on. And by that point, I was super rebellious and so we didn't really have that type of like father-son relationship. But you know, you're there for your kids, and I'm here for my kids. And I try to be as present as possible and spend as much time as I can.
Break that chain.
Yeah, but that's what I wonder. You know, was there a time when, you know, if the dad is there, where it's like, all right, the little boy had to go with their son or with their dad.
Sons go with dad. Daughters stay home with mom, learn how to be a wife.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Sons learn how to do things out in the yard, hunt, you know, build.
Yeah. I think about this stuff because, you know, my son, he's he's about to be 14. I know. And, you know, like I said, you know, Deja and I are talking about having, you know, some kids, and fuck, it's like, you look, there's no right way to parent. You don't know how to do it. You just figure it out as you go. Yeah. But you can always kind of like look at hindsight and like, oh man. So I think about, you know, man, you know, I definitely didn't take my son everywhere with me. But now it's like, oh man, if I have a son, maybe I will. Just take him everywhere with me.
Maybe that's how he gets into what you're into.
Yeah, because we were talking about, like, I noticed, and I think that maybe I had a college professor, rest in peace, he passed away. He would say, because this was probably, I guess AJ was pretty newborn, and he was telling me, he's like, when they're really little, you're gonna be like the smartest, the best, like the most important, and then as they get older, you're just gonna it's like an inverse bell curve, right? You're gonna start up here, and then you're just gonna slowly get dumber and dumber and dumber and dumber, and then, you know, usually around like 16, 17, 18, said you're just gonna be the dumbest motherfucker.
Dad, you don't understand.
You don't know shit, bro. Yeah. And then slowly, he's like, it returns. You'll soon be a smart man again. And I remember thinking, yeah, whatever. It's not gonna be that bad, whatever. But now that I'm getting there, man, and he's starting to kind of like pull away, and he wants to be himself, and he's kind of, you know, coming into his own, he's just trying to figure out who the hell he is in his own individual sense, right? And I think that's a part of it, so that's just hard to deal with. But yeah, I'm noticing his interests are not like my interests, and he'll say things like, he's like, Dad, that's your thing, not my thing. These little kids are so quick to just try to say what their thing is. And I'm like, man, maybe if I just kept him with me everywhere, I can just make sure his thing is my thing. But even if I do, will it do anything? Because is he just getting to that point where he's just trying to find his own thing? You know?
You stuck in the middle because you want him to be a certain way, you want him to like certain things, but you also want to be supportive.
It's just, man, yeah, you can only kind of guide him, and it's his own journey. At the end of the day, I'm coming to the grips, you know, in right around 16, he's gonna get a lot of freedom. I mean,
he's gonna get a license.
He's gonna have a license, and for him, he's the youngest in his grade. So by the time he turns 16, it's gonna be going into 11th grade. So I mean, he's gonna be nearing the end of school. You know, it's not gonna be a lot of time until it's like, hey man, you are responsible for what you are doing. Like the consequences of your choices. Like, you have to handle those.
Yeah, it'll come back on you.
Yeah, it's like, I can't tell you what to do. I can guide you. I can direct you. I can tell you what I would do. But, you know, that's been 3 fucking short years, bro. 4 years. 4 years of high school. So, it's wild, bro. It's coming fast. So I think about these things. It blows me the fuck away, man. You know, it's not that I wish he would necessarily be a certain way. It's just, sometimes I'm just, you know, I would love for him to love wrestling. That's the thing, man.
I know.
He's so good at it, man. And I know there's just so many benefits. And he's like, Dad, that's your thing. I'm just like, well, as long as is your thing, fucking next year too, buddy. I don't know.
Oh,
we'll
man.
see. I hope.
It's just like, how do you?
What if Simon Mesh just kept him with me more?
Yeah. I think I tell people all the time with my son, I'm like, I'm not gonna force him to wrestle.
Yeah.
And the game plan is to like mind screw him into wanting to wrestle. Like he's always gonna be at tournaments and this and that, blah blah. And I want to be like, Dad, I want to go wrestle. And I'm like, nah, you ain't ready. I'm giving like 2 years of that, and then basically by the time
just have him begging.
He's like 9 and 10 years old. Dad, I'm like, all right, but you can't quit. You begging me? I'm not gonna quit. I'm like, all right. Man, once you're in it, you're in it.
And secretly, that's what you've been
Yeah,
working.
that's what I'm waiting on the whole time.
You know, man, that might be the move. I might do that route. Yeah, just let him do other things.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, all the
Soccer, all that other stuff,
baseball, yeah, all those things.
all that fun stuff. Because wrestling, you know, you can't play wrestling. It's not a game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you know, you see these little kids that get into wrestling, they're always crying. It's emotional because a lot of them, you know, they don't come from a rough background.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the first time they actually see like conflict and peer aggression. You know what I mean? So like you in a room, some kids pushing you, snapping you down, picking you up and slamming you. They can't handle that.
Yeah.
You know, they've never seen it. They've never been out in the streets fighting with bullies, family functions, wrestling around with cousins. You know, a lot of them, the first time they see some kind of like physical combat and aggression is in a kids club wrestling room. And they can't handle it. They can't handle losing. You in a gym, you know, packed with thousands of people.
Yeah.
You know, kids running everywhere, moms and dads screaming. You got moms and dads coaching, you know, and you on this mat in front of all these people and some other kids pushing you around, your mom and dad screaming at you to get up. I can't breathe. You got to, boom, you get pinned and, you know, you walk to the corner, you crying. You know, I don't want that shit.
Yeah.
Like, my son, when you go out there, I ain't dealing with those tears.
Oh, well, yeah, you will. You
know,
will.
I mean, I'm saying it now, but I'm just like, you know, I just feel like basically, if he goes into it with the I won't quit mentality, there'll be less of that. Like if he comes off the mat crying because he's mad and not because he's sad, that's different.
Right.
If he's like, I want to win, fuck, you know, I'm like, all right, I can deal with that.
Yeah.
You know, don't be a sore loser, but I like that.
You cared, like you wanted that.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. There's a difference.
Yeah.
It is overwhelming the amount of input that's coming from all the noise and all the people and the whistles and the whistle that's on your mat and the whistle that's on the mat next to you. You got to know what's yours and what's not yours. And
dude, that's actually amazing to me. I've said, because I hate doing public speaking, and I'm in grad school right now, and I've got to like, you know, like perform on Zoom in front of a bunch of people, and I'm always nervous. And I'm always like, man, do you fight? You know, you wrestled, you this and that, you was a national champion, this and that, you've had 1,000 people. I'm like, bro, what you don't understand is when I'm competing, someone is trying to take my head off, okay? And I'm laser focused on the person in front of me and everything that controls that mat, okay? Mm-hmm. So it's like my opponent, my coaches, this referee, and your coaches. Those are literally the only people I'm focused on. And I think it's amazing that I've noticed that I've been in arenas, just in wrestling, I ain't going to get into MMA, full of thousands of people, like state tournament, national tournament. And like, I didn't hear that whistle over there in the mat that was right next to me. I didn't hear screaming fans, this and that, blah, blah. I heard my coaches. I heard this ref. I heard this guy. I heard this guy's coaches. And I just think it's crazy how you can zone in, and it's very animalistic because your adrenaline is up and everything is heightened.
Yeah, you're in flow state, bro.
That's what I'm saying. You're in flow state, like you said, and it's crazy.
It's like you create a room.
Yeah, everything's in slow motion. You know, like I said, you're in defense mode, and your body is just like, okay, what's important? What information that's coming in with these senses, the smell, hear, taste, everything, what's important? Okay, what his coach is saying is important. What my coach is saying is important. What this referee is saying is important. What this dude is doing is important. You know, so it's just amazing, man.
Yeah, bro. That's the beauty of wrestling.
Yeah. And like I said, and the same thing with MMA, fighting, and jiu-jitsu, any combat sport where you have to focus.
Yeah. Not enough people do that. Not enough people do that.
I don't know people on that. They're not with that life, man.
Well, just doing just like a hard thing where you feel really exposed and
Literally.
like the stakes are high.
The embarrassment.
Oh man.
Dude, I mean, I've been at the top and I've been at the bottom.
Yeah.
You know, I've got my hand raised on the big stage and I've lost on the big stage. And it's just, like that. The hardest conversation you will have as a coach is when a kid or a competitor loses something that meant a lot to them that they put a lot of work into. Like, you see this kid work all season. You see him do the extra stuff. You see him make sacrifices, and then he falls short of his goal, especially in the sport wrestling. Because, again, this ain't basketball. This ain't football. This ain't baseball. Those are games. You play them. You cannot play wrestling. It's not a fucking game.
Yeah.
This is some serious shit. Like, you going out there literally putting out blood, sweat, and tears, and the best person don't always win. The person who's most deserving don't always win. You can be kicking some dude's ass who's not on your level, who ain't worked as hard as you, and you can get headlocked or thrown and pinned.
Oh man, you've seen it.
Seen it at the highest level. And then that dude's jumping around and you're just like, and it's all over.
Oh man.
It's all over.
Yeah, man. I've definitely lost to a dude who head armed me. And got up on points, and I couldn't recover.
Same. I'd never. Oh, bro. So my junior.
And then the next match, I fucking went against Scott Penny, and I was hella. I was.
You guys like one of my best friends. That's so
I know.
crazy.
That's why I said that.
Yeah.
I know we talked about it. But that's why I was also funny because I was super pissed. I'm like, oh my god, I just fucking went against this guy, and now I have this tough match ahead of me.
Yeah. That's so funny.
I love Scott. He's a good dude.
He is. He really is, bro.
I saw you guys I know I took you out Soja, but I saw you guys at that little girl's lemonade stand.
Oh yeah, that was hilarious. That was my idea. I was like, hey, let's
funny.
do this.
Yeah,
he didn't want to do it at first.
That's funny.
So I was my junior in high school, and we were wrestling a rival team, and this team had. I want to say that they had this dude on their team. He was literally like the only black guy on the team. So it was like a predominantly white team. Then they had this dude on their team that was just like, he was the black guy that felt like he had to act black.
Oh, really?
So he was always walking around. I was like, dude, like, bro, you go to this school. Like, stop it.
Yeah.
You know?
Be cool.
So anyway, we knew it was going to be a tight duel. Two of my teammates missed weight. Matter of fact, it's the two dudes below me.
Oh, wow.
So I'm at 140. This guy's at 145. And my 30 and 135 both missed weight. My coach comes to me. He's like, in every duel except for the one against this terrible team, we need you to bump up because we won't win. And coincidentally, the dude for that team that we didn't like, he was state ranked. And the other team, coincidentally, both guys at 45 that I would have bumped to the wrestle were state ranked guys.
Oh, yeah.
I was state ranked as well, but in a lower weight. And I was just, and they were big too, bro. And I was just like, man, all right, whatever. So I beat the other guy. So last match, I'm wrestling this guy and I'm beating him.
So you wrestled 2 matches in a duel?
No. I've 2 different duels.
Okay.
2 different duels. So
Same tournament? Was it like
it was a quad. So like you wrestle 3 different teams today. So
got it. Okay.
First team is terrible. I wrestle my weight. Don't have to
now.
bump up. Pin dude in like 10 seconds. Next match, state ranked guy. I had to bump up, beat that guy. We beat that team by 1. Okay, it was a close match. Like I beat him in overtime. Last duel, I got to beat this guy or we won't win. I'm winning, and I'm actually dominating. But in wrestling, if I take you down and you get up, I'm only up by 1.
Right.
So I took him down, I think it was like 3 or 4 times, and I think I was up 8-5 in the third period.
Okay, so he chose down at one point and got up.
Yeah. So it's like 8-5. I'm up by 3, and I'm like, the only way he could beat me is if he throws me and pin me. He's got a good headlock too, so he's trying to tie me. I'm like, nope, just stand away. And he rushed me, and he just threw it from hell, dude. Threw me in the headlock, caught me on my back, got the 5 count, and then like I get off my back, and there's like 10 seconds left. and I'm losing by one because I get to escape.
Mm-hmm.
And this motherfucker literally starts running across, like around the mat.
They didn't give him a stalling or a
They
penalty,
hit him for stalling.
but it was still not enough time.
Yeah, like the only way I would have got a point is if like I took a shot and then he ran off the
Like
mat.
actually ran.
Yeah, then they would have hit Flynn. And I was like, you should have hit him for Flynn anyway. This motherfucker just turned and ran.
Yeah.
But dude, he got it. He's like, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'm looking at him like, bro, you was losing. You got lucky, and I'm smaller than you. Like, don't be acting like you just won state.
Man, that happens. That totally happens.
Yeah.
That happened to me at Nogi Worlds this last year.
I've never forgotten about that.
Yeah. That happened to me at Nogi Worlds this last year. This dude got up on points, and then he just proceeded to just stall and just back up, and I couldn't get it. Couldn't get her done. But those heartaches are important.
Yeah.
Learning those lessons, that makes you more prepared for life. Because let's just be honest, life is not easy.
No, it's not. No. Especially from people who don't come from, solid backgrounds, like families with a tradition of like passing stuff on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which totally jumping something else. Life insurance is very important.
Life insurance is important.
Yeah. I think that's a life hack that a lot of people in our community don't really understand.
Having insurance on your life?
Yeah. I mean, your grandma has life insurance. She passes away. She's leaving like $500,000 to your parents. Your parents got that $500,000. I mean, they got you, your brother, your sister, y'all set. That's a house here, a house there. That's college tuition here. That's this, that's that.
Yeah.
Just generational wealth that's being passed down.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. I think that's a lot of America, rural America too. Because here's the thing: I grew up in Potosi, Missouri, and that's like backwoods Missouri, buddy. And my grandma, when she passed away, I don't think she left anything to anybody. Yeah. I don't even know if my mom has life insurance. I don't know.
I know I got it.
You got it?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
My point is, man, a lot of people don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just like
people don't know.
A lot of lower income people don't realize, you could set up the next generation by just taking out a policy.
Yeah, I know.
That ain't that expensive.
But that's a monthly bill, bro.
Yeah, but dude, life insurance, if you get it young, ain't that expensive.
No, but then you got to pay for a long time.
Yeah, you do.
Till you die.
Yeah.
It's worth it, though.
Yeah, shit. In our community, you might die young, so.
Oh, shit, dude. Yeah, you work in an interesting system in that, man, school, I look at school differently now that I'm older. Mm-hmm. I think I heard somebody say they're just state-funded
babysitters?
No, like indoctrination centers. Essentially kind of what it is. I mean, who develops the curriculum and says this is the standardized, like this is the test and this is what's being learned and all that shit?
Oh, the state.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. And we've already discussed that.
It tells what we can and can't teach.
Well, and a lot of the things that we're teaching isn't even important. Why aren't we teaching kids how to do taxes and how to invest?
Taking away.
We don't teach things like farming. We used to teach seriously. Like there was once upon a time where almost everybody had gardens at home. Everybody. And what if we're already talking about supply chain issues with the food.
I think there should be more Job Corps training.
Job Corps training, dude. Yeah.
I feel like, not to cut you off, I feel like by your sophomore year, you know whether or not you want to go to college, the military. I think going into your junior year, you should be like on a course of like, okay, I plan on going to college. I plan on going to the military. Or I plan on going to a job training. And that should be an option. Okay, like you're not going to be taking introduction to bullshit. Your junior year, you're going into welding and this and that and blah, 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 because you're going to a trade school right after this.
Yeah.
But I feel like that is something to help keep certain communities oppressed. Because you start doing that at regular public schools, these people start going and getting like certifications, making good money in industries, and bringing that money back to their community, building that community up. All of a sudden, that community is not state funded. They're not on welfare. They don't need you. You can't control them.
Yeah.
It all trickles down.
I look at that as just everybody.
Yeah.
I really do.
No, that's why I didn't say race. I
No,
said community.
communities. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
like
that's what I'm.
it's certain communities. Like, hey,
Yeah,
we need to keep y'all down there.
yeah.
And if you guys started getting these jobs making, because to be honest, there are a lot of like trade jobs that make more than people who have master's degrees.
Oh my goodness,
You
you'll
know?
make so much money in the trades. Well,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. No, I say everybody. Yeah, I think communities is probably a good way to put it because if you go to some of these definitely more affluent areas, I mean, but even then, I just look at it as I don't know. Again, I'm just looking at school way different where there is a stigma on going to trade schools. I don't know why. I think we should be pushing. I mean, the trades, getting
I feel
a
like they should be
skill,
pushed more.
getting a skill. You know, like learning how to do carpentry or plumbing or welding or any of those things. What the fuck? Why don't we do more of that? And a lot of people would be way better off if they did that, and it would help America. But I don't think the idea is to really create a strong population of independent people at any level.
No, they kind of going backwards. I think they want us to be more dependent.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So
But school's interesting in that you know when you're young and you just feel that time is running out and you kind of have to make a decision. Like what I mean is I feel like a lot of young people they feel like, "Oh man, I need to figure out what I'm going to be doing with my life. I need to get a job or I need to go to school or I need to make this decision." And for example, if you don't go to school or like if you don't go to school and you just go get a job, you usually feel like you're behind in life. Like
yeah,
you're like, "Oh man, I'm a loser."
you seeing everybody on Facebook
Yeah,
over in University of
whatever. Yeah, you
yeah.
feel like you're behind. You feel like, "Oh my God, life is terrible," or like you're running out of time. Like you don't like what am I gonna do? I need to make a decision. But meanwhile you're just getting started in this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, got
Like
a
you
lot of
have
life
like
ahead
you
of
have a
you.
whole lot of life. But when you're like in your early 20s, you feel like you need to do everything now. You need to have it figured out now.
Especially as a man.
And
Yeah.
how much of that is coming from school? Because I was thinking about this. We put kids on an artificial progression, meaning you go to kindergarten and then you go to first grade and you progress 1, 2, all the way to 12. So you feel like every year you're progressing. It's a step. This is an accomplishment. This is a progression forward. I'm moving at a regular rate at a timeline forward. And then all of a sudden, there's no more steps forward. It's just you're in life. Unless you come over here, EJ, you can come to University of Missouri and you got 4 more steps. And then you get this degree. And if you want advanced degrees, you can take another step. And then you can get another. And then you feel like you're progressing and you're taking these steps. But really, a lot of those people taking steps are actually getting buried in fucking debt, right? You're actually getting buried, really, with what you're doing. But these other people who, if you don't take those steps, you're like, man, what the fuck am I doing with my life? And so the question is, it's like, man, are we putting this weird thing in people's heads early on where by the time they get to this part where you have to get into life, you have a skewed idea of what it actually means to live and progress in life?
I think the importance of education isn't what it used to be
Mm.
because it used to be where the best jobs you had to have a degree.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you want a job with benefits, you either had to like not even with trade schools, like to get into like a good trade job, you had to know somebody. You had to be grandfathered in. You had to put in time working somewhere to like get hired on or whatever. But I feel like now there are so many jobs out there where you can make a good living and you don't even have to have a high school diploma. But they're still pushing education because education is a business. These colleges are making money.
Yeah.
And they got, tuition is going up mainly because enrollment's going down. I don't know if you noticed that, but like college enrollment is going down like a lot.
Yeah, the university model is failing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, yeah. What was I going to say? so as far as enrollment go, or like I think that yeah, I think people have caught on to the scam a little bit. Yeah, it seems like I mean, the cost of university has far outpaced inflation, right? You know, when the government got involved and they're saying, "Hey, we'll cover the cost of school," then universities went crazy and they just fucking just started charging.
Out the wazoo.
Yeah, it's crazy. But what was my main point, EJ?
I don't know.
Ah,
My
God.
bad.
No, you're fine. That's me. That's me. I'm over here complaining about the
You
universities.
were saying, like forcing education on kids and
I'm not talking about forcing education on kids necessarily. I was just wondering, like, how does it feel to kind of to be around all of these kids in that school setting? And then I kind of just went on a huge ass riff on
well, I love being around kids. I mean,
how you know
I'm doing what I always
it's
dreamed
fucking
of.
up kids'
You know,
heads.
mentoring them, leading them, creating. I would say positive minds,
Yeah,
good human beings,
yeah.
positive citizens, and
Did you see? You said you saw yourself as a teacher as a kid.
yeah, yeah. Well, I always felt like I wanted to lead people.
Yeah,
You know, I didn't have a lot of leadership growing up, and then when I got it, I saw how it affected me, and I felt, as a team captain, I could lead, I could teach,
yeah,
I could really connect with people. So I was like, hey, I can do this. I might as well get paid for it. I like working with kids. I like giving back. I like helping people. I like motivating people.
hmm
So it was just,
yeah. Have you heard of Coach Wooden, John Wooden?
mm-mm.
Bro, you've got to read this. People, listen. I've talked probably ad nauseum about this guy as of late. I just finished his book. It's called Wooden on Leadership. He was the head basketball coach for the UCLA Bruins for probably, I don't know, like 25 or 30 years or some shit, like long ass time.
Yes.
I think, won 10 national championships, 7 in a row, had 4 perfect seasons. Like I think Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was on his team, like Bill Walton. Like he has had just a
Old school.
dynasty. Yeah, like he was like through that time, just a dynasty of a fucking team, right? Just one of the all-time greatest coaches. And one of the things that stuck out to me, his book is just fucking phenomenal. I think anybody who is a coach who leads anybody, whether it's a family or a business, I cannot recommend this book enough. But one of the things that stuck out to me, and at the end of every chapter, there's almost like a little essay that was written by like a former player. And time again, they all talked about it. He not one time ever talked about winning. The entirety of his coaching career. Never once did he ever talk about winning. It was always just like do your best. As long as you're doing your best and you're going out there and you're giving everything that you have and you're performing like you can perform, win or lose, you'll come back into the locker room and you can hold your head high. But they always fucking won, and it's just like teaching those things. You can change so many things as a coach.
Yeah, I like that philosophy. I don't really talk about winning a lot with my kids as well, just because I feel like I don't want to put that added pressure on them. Like they're going in to compete.
Yeah.
They know the main objective is to win.
Yeah.
So I don't need to really put it on them and they're thinking, oh, I'm winning for coach.
Yeah.
Like one of the biggest things I tell my kids, like from jump, like soon as we in like the first day of practice, I got all these new kids, freshmen, first year wrestlers, kids are returning. I always tell them, you're not doing this for me. I'm here for you. Like I'm EJ Brooks. I'm this, I'm that, All-American, national champion, pro fighter, this and that, TV, magazines, all this. I've done all of that. Like, so everything that I've done is for me. Everything you do is for you. When you put that singlet on, you represent this town, you represent this team, and you go out there and you represent you. You're not wrestling for me. When you get your hand raised, I'm not going out there with you. Okay? When you go out there to wrestle your opponent, I'm not going out there with you.
Yeah.
I'm sitting in that chair trying to give you direction to help you.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that win or loss is for you.
Yeah.
That win or loss as a team is for the town, for the team in the town. So, like, you're out there, you fight for you and your brothers. And then my kids, they realize they're like, like this dude makes sacrifices. He's here for us. Like, he's not living through it. 'Cause a lot of coaches live through these kids.
Yeah.
And like the kid loses and he's all in it. And I'm like, you know what? That shows him that this is about you and not him. He lost this match and you're mad because you feel like him losing embarrassed you.
Mm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
like, dude, I be ready to fight other coaches,
Really?
dude, because I love these kids so much. And, you know, they'll go out there, and if another coach says something, because a lot of time we coaching, and, like, we'll say stuff because we're tactically saying stuff to the other kid to get in his head. So I'll say stuff or whatever, but I'll try to keep it respectful. But sometimes, like, a coach will say something that I felt was, like, kind of disrespectful to my kid, and I'll just look up and like, dude, I'll beat your ass. Like, you know, like I'm quietly known as that kind of confrontational coach in Illinois, but I don't think I'm confrontational. I just think I'm real.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like we live, like I'm jumping to something else. I feel like we live in a time where people think they can say stuff without consequence, especially online. You know, and I was telling my buddy this other day, I was like, people are calling me confrontational because I'm so upfront, honest, and real.
Yeah.
People are so fake these days that when you tell them the truth, especially about how you really feel, you being confrontational.
Right.
No, motherfucker. I'm just not hiding behind a lie or telling you what you want to hear because I'm afraid to tell you what I really want you to know because I think it might upset you. I don't give a fuck about your feelings, especially if we working together. If we working towards a goal and I'm feeling this way and you feeling that way, and I'm like, ooh, I don't know if that's going to work. But if I tell him that it was his idea, it might hurt his feelings, and then we're going to end up there and it ain't going to work out, and I was feeling this way from the jump. No, motherfucker, I'm telling you. Like, I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
there's no reason why we can't disagree, right?
Yeah,
you got to learn to be
I would say I agree to disagree.
Yeah.
You know? You think this, I don't. Whatever.
There was a time where, you know, it was the ability to disagree and debate was really valued. Not so much.
Yeah. Now you're closed-minded or what do they call you? They always put a phobe. You're a something phobe.
Yeah,
you disagree with anything, you're something phobe.
Or an ist.
Yeah,
an ist, like either you're sexist or you're racist or you're.
I got what you're saying. Yeah. Atheist, antagonist, and blah blah blah, and all that.
Just labels. Nobody wants that. It's hard to have conversations with people though, man.
Nowadays, it's ridiculous.
You have to have it in person. You know, you can't do it over text of any sort.
And you got to walk on eggshells even in person, just like feel people out, especially people you don't know.
Yeah.
Like I something I've learned as I matured. I listen more.
Yeah.
Because I'll let you speak more on a topic and realize, ooh, see, I was feeling this way, and if I had said this, it would have offended you.
Yeah.
You know.
Sometimes I'll start speaking, and then I'll be thinking like, oh, I wonder, you know, I don't really know quite where your stances are. I wonder if you're offended right now. But on the same note, push back if you feel different.
Yeah.
Don't just sit there. You know, I think we should be able to have disagreements. It shouldn't be an issue.
And I feel that way, like, because that's how I am.
Mm-hmm.
But I know, like I said, this is through age and maturity.
Yeah.
That not everybody thinks like I am. Nobody's as tough and as comfortable with themselves as I am.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not going to say something outside of calling me the N-word that's going to offend me when it's your opinion. Like, you can say, oh, I think black people this, or I think people from this do that, and blah, blah. Okay, you think that. You don't know. You've heard. You were raised a certain way, this and that, blah, blah. All right. I'm glad, you know, you told me that, so now I know, like, what you come from and your way of thinking.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I don't think that for whatever reason, I think that with the way social media has kind of conditioned people to communicate.
Oh my goodness.
Whenever you're kind of faced with an opposing opinion, the initial reaction is just to get angry, right? It's just to get angry and to like write off. I'm always conflicted because it's, you know, there's sometimes where you don't want to waste your energy, so you end up just saying nothing. But we've gotten to a point to where it seems that you can't continue to say nothing, or else things are only going to get worse. So you have to say things. You know what I mean? But at a certain point, it's a waste to say things to certain people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. It really
It's really weird.
You try to get people better out, but there are some airheads out there.
Well, people are also fanatical. You know, I've realized, man, that a lot of people, they don't really want to think, and they don't really want freedom. They truly don't. I default to freedom. I really do always. I don't give a fuck what you think or what freedom is where I default. And I've had some conversations with some people, and I realized that, especially after the more I've studied and kind of look at things now, dude, people, they don't want freedom. They just want they want freedom from choice. They want freedom from consequence. They want freedom from having to actually say, you know what, I failed. They don't actually want to own up to anything. So what they would rather do is
blame.
Well, they'd rather give up freedom for security. They would rather to give up the ability to actually try
Make that choice.
Yeah, to make that choice for just a sure thing, whether that sure thing is good or not, right?
That makes a lot of sense.
And people will do that. And what I've realized is that fanatics on both sides, on either side, it doesn't matter what a fanatic believes. You can never actually reason with a fanatic, and you'll never actually change their mind. You can only convert them.
Those are dangerous people because they're voluntary sheep.
Yeah, well, they're the most extreme, right? And they're the most prone to actually to do some shit.
Yeah.
When it comes
to they believe what they believe, they follow radically.
Yeah.
And it's just like if you go against that, it's just like you're the enemy. They don't care what you're saying.
Nope.
It goes back to the whole kneeling thing, like the kneeling thing, like when boy was taking a knee, Colin.
Oh,
he's taking
Kaepernick.
Knee. Okay, now. I'm not even going to say if I agreed or disagreed with him kneeling or whatever. I'm definitely not going to say I disagree with why he was kneeling. He was saying, hey, I'm taking a knee because of I want to bring awareness to police brutality, this and that, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You know, he even said, my friend who's a Marine told me to do this.
He took a lot of steps to make sure that he wasn't being disrespectful.
And all you heard people saying, well, my cousin's in the military, my cousin's in the Navy, my cousin's a Marine, my cousin's in the Air Force, this and that, blah, blah. And he's like, okay, I get that, you know, but this is why I'm doing it. Like, I don't, like, okay. You didn't want to hear nothing he was saying, all right? Again, I'm not saying I agree with him taking a knee, but I'm noticing and, you know, shining light on the fact that you weren't even trying to hear this dude out.
Yeah, there's no nuance, right?
Because what if he was, I guarantee you, if he said I was kneeling because of women's rights, he wouldn't have got the same flag.
No, without a doubt. Yeah, well, there's with a fanatic, there's no nuance. It's black and white, right? It's right or wrong. But here's the thing: the fanatic, you can be on the opposite side. They're the exact same person. There's no difference other than they just were converted to a different ideology. Mm-hmm. And when you look at mass movements throughout history, the mass movement that like wins, like look at the Nazis, for example, you know where they got a lot of their numbers was from the Communist Party. Because as they were winning, the fanatics on the other side, they just convert them right into their party, and then they're just loyal soldiers. Because the fanatic, they're just converted. That's it. That, for example, somebody who you'll see like convicts, or you'll see like drug users, you know, people who are just the far gone, you know what I'm saying? They're like, oh man, I was completely strung out, and then I turned my life around, and then they'll get into like religion, for example, or you know what I'm saying? Yeah. They'll get converted into something different.
Just a new addiction,
or
new cult.
Exactly. You just go from one extreme to the next, or you'll become a fitness junkie. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You just get converted. That's it.
Yeah, new addiction.
It's just a way of looking at things. So those people you cannot have a rational conversation with them. You can only convert them. It's a weird thing. It's fucking wild. I look at all these things way different. Because I was having a conversation with somebody, especially with this Roe v. Wade shit going on, and I don't care what you believe. Like, I really don't. But whenever you think that what you believe is the way everybody should operate, that's where we differ, because that's not freedom. That is not freedom. And I was trying to have a conversation with somebody, because this is through, I don't ever get involved with shit like this on Messenger and shit. But I was messaging this person because, first of all, they keep posting the most ridiculous things over and over and over on their stories. And they posted this one probably 2 or 3 days now, and it's like the third time I've seen it. And it's going through the list, and it said, I do believe in pro-choice. It's like the choice to abstain, the choice to use contraception, the choice to adopt, or the choice to be a mother, but not the fifth choice of killing a baby. So I just go in and I'm just like, hey man, it's so fucking annoying, because it's like, first of all, you're ignoring a lot of nuance, right? Because, for example, in Missouri, if somebody wants to get an abortion now, you can't. Not even for incest or rape. You're going to tell me that that's not a valuable reason? I don't understand. But that's neither here nor there. So, but I actually just went to a very simple thing that we could look at with numbers, which is the foster care system. So you say you want people to go to and just give up abortions. All right. Well, there's currently, just in Missouri alone, 7,000 kids every year entering into the foster care system. There's 407,000 kids annually in the foster care system.
Wow.
What are we? So if you were talking about putting kids in the foster system, so what do you suggest we do with all those current kids in there? Because now you're talking about adding to that. That's just a fact. There's downstream effects. You're going to add to that. My next question was, are you a fan of increasing welfare spending? That was because that's another, you have to increase welfare spending now. Ignored both of those and just went straight into, well, so it's better just to kill a baby because they're not born with a gold spoon in their mouth and they don't have the wealth of it. What the fuck you can't even have a genuine conversation with me now because you're just telling me I want to kill. And then he goes to say, so what should we do with all those? We should just kill all those kids. You're saying it's better just to kill those kids? Talking about the kids currently in the welfare system or in the foster system. I'm like, dude, what do we do with those kids? I'll go, what do you suggest we do about the mental health issue of all these kids? Because some kids do end up in good homes, but a lot of kids don't. A lot of kids also end up homeless. A lot of kids end up addicted, homeless. They get neglected and abused. They get molested. They get trafficked. A lot of them get put into homes. There's not like orphanages like people think, but there's boys and girls homes. There's these people who buy houses and then just stuff kids in there for checks, and they just neglect these kids. So it's not a perfect.
I've seen it all.
It's not
like everything you just said. I've seen personally.
All those things are true, right? Yeah. It's not a good system. So there's a downstream effect here. So what are we going to do about those? So I just presented a very real problem to you, and all you wanted to do is tell me all I want to do is kill people. Yeah. You can't have a conversation with that person. You are a fucking lunatic.
Everything you said went in one ear and out the other, and all he wanted to hear was, what he wanted to hear.
Well, he was just like, everyone on your side of the aisle thinks this. I'm like, well, dude, we agree on a lot of things. Like during the whole masks and not wanting to get vaccines and all that. I agree with you, buddy. We're on the same page on a lot of things. I actually thought you were thinking pretty rational, but then now you sound like a fucking lunatic. I even said at one point, I go, whether it's 2A or it's this or it could be any of these things. I go, I default to freedom, man. 2A is my God-given right. You goddamn it. I have my fucking firearms. Hey there, buddy. You can't. Hey. Shit. You gonna take my firearms? You gonna take my firearms?
I don't believe in telling people how to think.
Come on, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Or what they have to do. I do believe in options. Like, okay, you can do this or you can't. But if you don't do this, you can't do this. You get what I'm saying? It's just like
consequences for your.
What? No, okay, let's basically say it like this. Let's say
unless those consequences go against freedom, that's the problem.
Let's go with. Okay, you got a concert, and they say, okay, this is a private event. Only vaccinated people can be here.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a private event.
Yeah.
It's a concert, jam-packed people. You don't want people in there unless they can prove they're vaccinated.
Yeah.
I don't think people who aren't vaccinated can argue that, because one, that's their shit.
Yeah.
They said this is who we want. We don't want certain people. How many times you been to a club, they say, hey, no plain white T-shirts.
Yeah.
No holes in your jeans.
Yeah.
No tennis shoes. Like, this is your establishment.
Yeah.
This is how you want it. So that's what I mean. Like,
basically. But that becomes a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything,
because,
fine details.
Because then when is it, well, I don't want black people in my establishment. Yeah. Then we go backwards. See, that's the weird thing, right? Because I do agree with that in that it's like it's capitalism, it's a free market, and that if I will not go to a place that requires vaccines. I just won't do it. So I will not patronize.
I don't know if there's any. I was just using it as a random example.
Well, there are places who did, and I don't know if they still do, but because they did, I won't patronize them anymore, just on principle. Like I'm hard headed like that. Mm-hmm. So, but that's I feel like that's everybody's choice. To your point, right? But then it gets weird, right? Because if you do allow that, then where do we draw the line? Because everything has a slippery slope, and that's where it gets weird. I don't know what the answer is.
No, we don't. You know what I also heard, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard that with this new bill passed in Missouri, you can't do anything that impedes I guess the impregnation of an egg. I'm gonna just say that I heard that you can't be on birth control in Missouri. You can't have an IUD.
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
would say
know.
looking at that.
I will.
I heard from a nurse, and she sent me a link, and I'm pretty sure that's what it said. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh man.
Yeah. See, I just don't agree with any of that.
And if that's true, to me, this was never about babies.
no, this is about control.
This is about control.
It's always
yeah.
about control,
Yeah.
right?
And it goes back to what I said about people being on welfare. People stop having kids out of wedlock, start, not having to depend on the state because they got 2 or 3 babies.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what this is about. Like, hey,
I thought they at least wanted less people.
Because who is this affecting? This is literally affecting the lower income communities.
Poor people, for sure,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
Because the rich people, like, okay, they're gonna drive over or fly somewhere and get it done somewhere else.
Oh, they're gonna get done.
Yeah,
They're gonna get done.
and
control,
again, I just don't. I don't know about telling a woman what to do with her body. Now, I do think
I don't like telling anybody what to do with their body.
my stance on abortion, I was always pro-choice because I feel like I can't tell a woman what to do with her body. My mom had me at 14, and they begged her to get an abortion. They begged her to give me up for adoption. Luckily, she chose not to.
She
and
chose
to
otherwise.
keep,
Yeah, worked out for you.
But at the same time, like, I can understand if she chose that. I'm glad she didn't because I wouldn't be here. But, like, she was a 14-year-old kid in foster care.
Yeah.
Who just had a baby by her foster brother. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like, that was a screwed up situation, bro. But my thing is I've always felt like, okay, there's a limit.
Yeah.
Like, okay, once you get past like a certain trimester, this is just my opinion.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not right.
Yeah, but you've come from an interesting place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just like, hey, like, obviously too far along is too fucking far along.
Right.
But she shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
But like early on, and like I said,
I
think birth control should be free.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think if you're sexually active and you're not on birth control, you're an idiot.
Yeah. See, here's the thing though about birth control. That's hormone therapy. I think we don't take it serious enough. We're putting a lot of times, even if they aren't sexually active, because we're talking about regulating different things for girls, we're putting them on hormone regulation, which is going to affect them their entire life. It'll affect the men that they choose. It'll affect the way they develop. It can even affect the type of cancers that they develop and how early and when. So there's a lot of consequences that come with birth. Are you familiar with the T-shirt test that they did, the T-shirt experiment? They took these women, and based on whether or not they were or were not on birth control, they had them they had them smell these T-shirts that guys would wear. But based on whether or not they were not on birth control, it affected the type of man that they were attracted to. So it would genetically, right? We kind of have these drivers that attract us to people, usually based off breeding, right? What are your genes kind of wanting, right? It's manipulated. So in effect, you could be attracted to somebody you're not even compatible to whatsoever
Because it is
because of birth control, because you're on hormone therapy. So think about that. How many girls are with these dudes who they're not even probably compatible with because they were falsely kind of attracted to them, and then they get off birth control, and after maybe having a kid or being pregnant, and then they're like, I'm not even attracted to this guy. And it's because biology was just like, whoa, you fucked me up, and now we're here. So there's just there's a lot of things that happen, man, that we're just so short-sighted on. I don't know. I'm a little on the line.
You heard they developing a birth control for boys, right? You heard that?
Yeah. See, all this shit, fucking with hormones and fucking with people. I don't know if I'm with it, man. I don't know if I'm with it, but
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
if
Either
I'll
way,
put my son on that. I'm just
I just default to freedom. I don't think we should be telling people what to do. And I think that people are going to do what they're going to want to do. People are going to fuck up their consciousness. We're going to alter consciousness through multiple drugs. People do it all the fucking time. People are going to pleasure themselves how they want to pleasure themselves. People are going to, you know what I'm saying? Like
they're gonna pop mushrooms.
they're going to do things, man. This is what people do. So as long as we're doing it safely and they're not hurting other people, that's where I'm just like, man, let people fucking live, bro. Like fuck who you want to fuck. You know, if you wanna if you wanna marry who you wanna marry, go marry them.
Dude, that's funny.
If you wanna shoot some guns, or you know, it's just like we tell you you can do this thing, but you can't do this thing, and it's like, all right, well now we're gonna have consequences because you didn't do what I said what we should do, even though you're not hurting somebody. Like we got millions of people, or I don't even know what the number is, but too many people sitting in jail right now because of drugs. Still, why are we doing that? That's crazy. You know, it's just there's just a lot of things that aren't freedom, and it just baffles me, man. It's just freedom. That's it. Whether you like it or not, I don't need you to like it. Am I hurting you? No. Well, fuck off.
Yeah, like you said, let people live.
That's it, man. Go collect rainwater if you want to. Go garden. I don't give a shit. Go snort a line of coke. I don't give a shit. For real, bro. Do you?
You know, it took me a long time to really think like that. Again, I would say maturing. I'll never forget going on with what you said, let people live. I was in college, like my senior year, and there was this dude, had a wig on, rain boots, skirt, full goatee like me. Just doing his thing.
Doing him.
And this was back when like all of this ain't normal. Like, a lot of people weren't out. A lot of people weren't.
Homies have his time.
Yeah. Nobody was, like, living their life.
Was he in Colombia?
Yeah. So, I was so used to being around people who bashed that, made comments, that even though, like, I really didn't care for real, I was just so accustomed to the people I surrounded caring that it kind of made me say certain things. So anyway, I said something. And I basically was like, man, look at, and I joked that person. And my boy, he was just like, man, let that man live. And it just hit me. It's like, yeah, he right. That dude ain't hurting me.
Nope.
That dude is living his true self. He's happy. He's this man. Like, what he's doing is not affecting me.
No.
You know, like, why should I be judging him?
Right.
Like, think about how many times somebody has saw you just for being who you are and said, man, I don't even like him for no good reason. And that's what you're doing to this guy. And I was just like, damn, my friend just like taught me some shit. And I felt myself grow as a person right there in that club.
Yeah.
You know,
it's just insecurity as a person, right? Like you felt like in that moment that you had to say something, because if you didn't say something, then someone might think something. Because now you're accepting it.
No, I wouldn't say that. I get that.
I don't think you consciously went through all those thoughts.
I think it was more of like, I thought it was cool to say something because everybody that I hung around with
would have said something.
And so because I didn't say something, like, I'm not cool for saying something. Like I said, he let me know, motherfucker, that ain't cool.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, yeah, so you probably put it in better words, but you're like, you're not cool if you didn't say something. You had to feel cool.
Yeah. Like, and then, like, my boy, he was like, he showed me that, one, that comment that I made wasn't me.
It was other people.
It was some other people. Like, so I'm not, he was saying, like, it's cool to be yourself. EJ, you don't give a fuck about what he's doing over there. Because what he's doing don't affect you.
Yeah.
So stop trying to be like them dudes that you around all the time.
Yeah.
You know. And I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. You know, like, I don't even like those dudes. Basically, I'm going to say it was my teammates.
Yeah.
So I used to hang out with a bunch of dudes who weren't like me.
Yeah.
Who used to be judgmental and say certain things. And I would find myself, like, I guess, subconsciously behaving like them because I'm around them so much.
100%.
And then when I was around people like me, you know what I'm saying? You know, they would, you know, they'd be like, hey, man, you tripping. You acting like this or you doing this. I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right. Like, you know, and I could let my guard down. I could just be relaxed. And, but, you know, I was young and I was learning. I was learning to be the man that I eventually became by 30.
Yeah.
You know.
I think that's probably the path a lot of us walk.
Yeah.
We're all insecure young people trying to figure out who we are.
Who we are.
That's what I'm noticing.
What works.
Yeah, that's what I'm noticing the most with my kids right now. They're trying to, a lot of times they'll say, I'm not the type of person that. They're trying to define themselves right now. They're trying to figure out who they are. I did that, dude, one day when I was a kid being mixed. Dude, sometimes I come in, I dress super preppy. Sometimes I come in, tall tees, fucking.
I got you. Trust me, I know.
You know, you're just trying to figure the fuck out, like, who you are and where you fit in. And, man, 18 to 25 is the hardest time in your life because your brain is not fully developed yet. It's usually around 25, 26, 27, things start becoming.
Especially for men.
Well, for everybody. Just like physiologically, your brain, your frontal cortex isn't fully developed yet. So
I just feel like this world is harder on men.
yeah, I think that time is more dangerous for men because you're the most volatile, and that's the most
when
likely.
A lot of guys commit suicide and stuff like that.
Yep. Yeah, that's the most time you're going to get probably super depressed or lost or do something very dangerous. I mean, that's when you're physically off the fucking charts, and a lot of young men that's the most probably dangerous group of humans walking around the planet Earth right now.
Because, like, think about this, and you know I'm not lying when I say this. A woman can literally live with her parents till she's 25, and nobody will say shit. If a dude is 25 years old and he's living with his parents, most women will feel like he ain't shit.
Yeah, and maybe you think maybe that's more of our generation thing, and it's maybe changing with these younger generations. I think a lot of people live at home.
Well,
still.
I mean,
more now.
This
than
whole
ever.
dating. I'm so glad I'm out the fucking pool.
It's weird.
It's
dude.
weird, bro. It's like, now we finna jump to something else. Like, I was telling my boy the other day, his son's like 19, and his girl broke up with him because she didn't want to get rid of her OnlyFans. I'm like, you're in an era right now where most girls you meet have some kind of like income coming through sex work, and you have to be okay with that.
But do most girls really, or just most of the girls you're going to meet in that type of way? Like maybe the girls that aren't doing that, you're just not going to be able to meet.
I'm talking to a lot of young.
Is it really a lot of them?
Oh, shit.
Really?
Okay, not the school I'm working at now. Okay. I was working at a school. Okay. And one of my wrestlers, I came in the wrestling room, and my wrestlers were sitting in a group, and they were all looking at something on the phone. And I'm like, what y'all looking at? They was like, such and such just dropped her new nudes.
Such and such.
Yeah. And I'm like, ain't such and such like the valedictorian? They was like, yeah.
And she's currently in school?
Yeah. And I was like, and this was a while ago. So I was like, so that just tells you where we're at now. Because this was almost, I'm not going to say how long ago because I don't want to say what school I was working at.
No, that's fine.
So I was like, but she's, somebody up. They was like, Coach, all girls have like albums. And I was like, so you mean tell me that most of the girls in the school purposely put out their nude albums, and even the lamest, ugliest dude in the school can have their shit and they know it? They was like, yeah. They're like trading cards. Like they want to be known for having the best ass, the best shot of this and that. And I'm like, wow, this is what we going to?
What, dude?
Yeah. When the most respected girl in the school is okay with the lamest guy in the building having pictures of her and stuff like that. And I'm like, this is crazy. I couldn't have grew up in this generation. And that was so long ago. So now, like I said, we're in a situation where like,
yeah, but how many
these girls are saying, I can't wait to get 18 so I can start my OnlyFans.
But how many of those girls are?
And I'm not hating. I'm just saying that like, that's like, you tell some 18-year-old girl who could make, let's say, a minimum of $50,000 in a year from having an OnlyFans. That
do you? I guess
that hey, like you need to cut that off. I like you. I'm 19. Let's build a life together. I need you to get off OnlyFans because I don't want nobody else seeing you.
Well, here's the problem. None of those people should be trying to settle down and build a life together. This is where people fuck up.
But even still, like, would you want your girl?
No. Here's the thing.
And like
that's short-sighted. All those young women are going to regret that later on. Not all, but a lot probably will, for sure. I mean, that's out there forever. But here's the thing. I mean, shit.
Mia Khalifa, look how she Lana Rhodes, like
Yeah, I
these
mean
are
that's a
are
lot.
those stars that I follow.
Yeah, that's a lot of money, for a young
I
person.
mean, do you, boo boo? You
to
want to make
do,
your
but
money,
yeah,
But it's just like I said, I would not want to be in this dating pool now, man, because
no,
these women are about their bag.
yeah,
They are proud of their bodies and proud to show what they got. But I do believe later on, a lot of them gonna be like like Kim Kardashian. Cause I don't watch her show, but I saw a clip where she was upset because someone at school showed her kid
yeah, the shit,
her
yeah.
sex tape, and I'm just like, you
Kanye,
never thought,
Kanye had to go up there and handle that shit.
yeah, you never thought your kids was gonna see this. Like you have,
Short-sighted.
like you got to think about this. You have an OnlyFans, and let's say you already got kids. In about 15 years, your kids might be able to type you up and see you doing whatever.
Yeah.
If that doesn't freak you out,
But
or
also,
worry you, I don't.
yeah, that's true, man. That's true. But if you got a hot rack, use it, baby. I don't know, man. It's wild. It's wild times. But also, a part of me is like, man, that's super short-sighted. You should never do that. I mean, who's really gonna? But on the other hand, it's like, who gives a shit? We're all here temporarily. Think about all the porn throughout all the years. Is anybody going back looking for that porn from 2000? Nope. It's in the wash. It's gone. Is anybody going back to the 70s looking for some lady who was doing porn in her 70s? In the 70s, you think anybody gives a shit about her? Nope. In 10 years, if you did porn today, in 10 years, there's going to be so much more porn that's made. No one's even going to give a shit about it. And if you do, who cares?
You're probably right. I mean, I hope
no,
you're
but
right.
I get it. I wouldn't want to do that either, dude. You're right. I think that's very short-sighted because, yeah, you don't want your kids to see that shit. You really don't. But on the same note, when you're in your 20s, you shouldn't be dating anyway. How many people get in these relationships in their early 20s and then they think it's going to work out and they're like, oh, man, we were so in love, and then you kind of phase to that later half of your 20s. You start thinking differently. You start realizing what your values are, what you really want, and then you realize it's not what this other person wants, and then they go separate ways.
Dude, back in with me telling you about me just realizing I shouldn't have said what I said when I was in the club, 23, senior in college. I grew so much, basically from, I would say, 18 to 30, because I really saw a huge change in me mentally at 30. Something just clicked. A lot of stuff I didn't like, I liked. Certain things that I was doing, I was like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this. My whole way of thinking changed.
Yeah.
And I'm just realizing, dude, from, I would say 18 to at least 28, that's a 10-year span. I met a lot of women.
Yeah.
Had a lot of interactions with women, okay? Whether they were serious, long-term, short-term, 5 minutes, whatever. And I was like, dude, I wasn't shit. I'm a nice guy. I'm a great guy. I'm better than most. But if you met me from 18 to at least 28, I wasted your motherfucker. I ain't gonna say I wasted your time, because I can assure you.
It was a learning lesson.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? There were definitely some good times that you had with me. But it was if you were looking for something serious with me, I wasn't that guy.
No.
Because to be honest, I wasn't the man I needed to be for a good woman. You know what I'm saying? I was a good guy. I was a good guy to date, good guy to have fun with. If you wanted something hot, short, and fun, it was me. If you were looking for long term, and I didn't know that, which was what made me dangerous, because I was meeting women who were looking and capable of having a solid long term relationship, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
Not realize I'm not ready for this.
Yeah,
she is, but I'm not.
Yeah, how many good ones?
I think I wasted. I think I wasted. Shit. Off the top of my head, just randomly thinking.
I mean, you could think of some, right? I mean, there's plenty where.
You know what? I'm not even gonna do college. I'm gonna go post college. That way I don't hurt nobody's feelings. At least 3 solid women's time.
Yeah. Where you're like, man, you are gonna be an amazing wife.
Yeah, but
just
I'm not
for
the guy.
me.
Not the guy.
Yeah. It happens, dude.
Yeah.
That shit happens.
There was one girl that I dated right after college. Um, she lived in California. She wanted me to move out there. She was like, "I'm gonna take care of you. You know, you can go to grad school, work on this MMA thing. I got us, this and that, blah blah." Great, like good looking girl, had a career, was all about me. Like it was, how can I better EJ? Like EJ needs to get his masters. EJ needs to pursue this pro MMA career. Like EJ needs a new car. He needs it. Like anything he needs, I'm gonna help him get that because I'm set and I want to build this with him because I love him so much. And I was just like, she wants a future with me, and I don't even know what the fuck I want. Like she's thinking years down ahead, white picket fence, kids, this and that, and I'm just like, I ain't gonna be ready for that then. She's ready for that now. So she needs to find somebody who's also ready for that now. Right now, I'm wasting her time. I'm this good looking shiny toy that she's having fun with, that she's planning on spending the next rest of her life with. And I'm just like, nah, bro. And I remember I was just like, I had to end it. And it sucked because I knew I hurt her ending it. But I also knew it was the right thing because it only would have hurt worse putting more years into that relationship and then doing something that would have really crushed her, you know.
Yeah, timing matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I definitely ended some relationships for the better. And it's never easy. You know, you always the bad guy. You know, so
We're all the bad guy in someone's story.
Yeah, I think you're the bad guy in everybody's story but yours.
You think?
Yeah.
Well, you're at least the you're just a supporting role at the very least.
Yeah.
You know, does that ever make you think about the amount of blind spots you could possibly have? You know, like you look back, you're like, man, I was viewing life and situations in such a way that was completely off base of reality. But do you ever try to apply that to now? It's like what am I missing right now?
Crazy you say that. I was just having this thought the other night. I was eating some special candy. So I was sitting just up watching YouTube, thinking about certain stuff.
Thoughts, huh?
Just in my head, and I was like, that situation when I was 21 really wasn't what I thought it was. Like I thought this was my relationship with this person, this friend, this girl, this, that, and blah. And that totally wasn't what it was.
Dude.
Because like what you learn being in that situation again and realizing like, oh, I was in this situation this time and I know this isn't what it was. Oh shit, that might not have been what it was. And then you realize it wasn't.
Right.
But you thought it was. You were delusional in thinking that this is how this really was. And your brain will always make everything out to be better in your benefit. Like you will remember trauma. Like, I don't know how to explain this. Like people have trauma and your brain will help you cope with it.
Yeah, we try to rationalize things.
Yeah, like rationalize it and make
give
it
meaning to
like
things.
Okay, like this happened, this is why it happened, and it wasn't that bad. And in reality, it's not.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, we will do, the worst thing that happens to you is like the worst thing that's happened to you. So it's kind of like you can never really compare people's traumas. But on the same note, you'll look back in your life and you'll be like, what do you mean? Everybody didn't have this fucked up situation happen to him? And it's like, no, bro. Like, that was really bad. And you're like, oh, shit. I just had a very traumatic thing shape this whole thing in my life. And I didn't even know it until I just brought it up.
You realize that when you start talking to people that don't come from stuff that you come from.
Yeah, because you just think that the way you think or the way life was for you is how everybody. And then you just start realizing, like, that experience is subjective.
It really is. When I was at that school I was at, being one of the only black guys on the team, I remember buying a car and then giving my little brother my old car.
Yeah.
So I got my refund check, went and dropped $4,500 on a new car that I needed. Actually, I didn't need a new car. My brother did.
Yeah.
So I had a 95 Beretta that ran great. I'm dating myself. Like, so anyway, he's like, oh, my car broke down, blah, blah. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to use my refund check and I'm going to go get me a new car. Then I'm going to give you this car. So drove back home, gave my brother my car. I'm pulling up to the arena where we train at, and two of my teammates outside. They see me pull up in my new car. Like, yo, bro, your parents got you a new car? I was like, no, I just bought that. And dude was like, you bought your own car? I was like, yeah, I used my refund check. He was like, why didn't your parents buy it? I was like, first of all, bro, my parents ain't together.
Yeah.
I was like, second, because I'm a grown ass man, 21 years old, like, I'm good, bro. He's like, no, that's not fair, bro. Like, your parents shouldn't make you have to buy your own car. You know, your mom should have got your car. And I'm like, bro, you don't know what my home life like. My
Yeah.
mom at home with like 4 or 5 kids. She's still raising. You know, like most of the time I get my refund check, I'm sitting back home because my bill's paid. I'm good. You know, I'm getting paid for meals, my rent being paid, my utilities getting paid by the school and scholarship and stuff like that. I'm like, only bill I really got is a cell phone bill. You know what I mean? So like when I get this extra money, I'm like, hey, mom, what you need? And I'm sending it back. But we had different life experience.
Mm-hmm.
You come from a culture where you got 2 parents who are paying for your school,
Yeah.
buying you a car, giving you, and I'm not knocking that. But I could tell you do not understand what I come from. Like
Yeah.
he could not wrap his head around the idea that my parents weren't in a position to help me with anything.
Right.
And that I wasn't upset about it. Cause I was just like, whatever, man. Like I'm good. Like I'm grinding. You know, like I'm my own man. And I'm not holding it against my parents that they not in a position to help me when I need it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm doing all this so I can actually be in a position to help them. You know.
How many of those kids grow up and still think that way?
Most of them.
It seems like
They don't learn.
It seems as if there are quite a few people in the world who a lot of people are fucking entitled. They feel entitled.
Mm-hmm.
Everything should just be easy, but also there seems to be such a lack of perspective.
And you know what's the worst about those type of people? They actually resent people like us. They resent people who come from nothing and achieve as much or more than them because they don't feel that they could have done it without the help they got. That's how I view it. I'm like, you got this kind of support system, and you look at me and you say, he don't come from where I come from. I'm better than him, but we're on the same level. We're on the same level because you've been given everything you've gotten, and I had to work for everything I got, and we right here. And if everybody took all our shit away, and you didn't have your support system, and we started over from scratch, you don't think you can get where we at right now, but you know I can because you saw me do it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. The question is, in the long term, I always think in like the business sense,
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, like if somebody kind of, they had all the resources to help them get a business, and like, you had to hustle and grind and build the business, and now you guys are kind of like at similar levels in business. In the long term, that person who had to work harder and grind and learn all those hard lessons,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to win in the end.
Yeah.
Because at some point, inevitably, life is going to get really hard, whether it's a lockdown or it's something.
You got to adapt.
And if you haven't gone through those lessons, then you don't know how to pivot. You don't know how to be resourceful. You don't know how to actually win. And those people always fail in the end. Not always, especially when you have enough money, but a lot of time, yeah, man. Yeah, I look, especially in the business sense, I think of, that's kind of how I look at it. It's like, man, those motherfuckers, they don't have the reps.
No.
They're going to lose. They're going to lose in the end.
Nuts.
I know, dude. People are wild, man. People are wild. Times are strange. Times are strange. We're getting old, EJ.
I know, man.
How much longer are you going to keep fighting, bro?
Shit. Well, I told myself probably another 2 years.
You're crazy. You don't even need to do it.
It's a want.
I know it's a want.
Yeah.
I know.
As soon as I lose that drive,
It's weird to me that you still have it.
I like competing.
Yeah, I know.
That's all it is. I like competing. And I think the only reason why I'm even starting to lose a little bit of the drive is because I got kids.
Yeah.
And I love my kids, bro. It's just like, I got these 2 little babies. And it's hard for me to leave
To
work
not be around them.
and not be around them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, shit, if I leave work, go straight to the gym, train, come home, it's time for bed for them. They going to bed, and I'm like, oh, shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And then, my main goal in life, regardless of my accomplishments, All-American, national champion, All-State, pro fighter, blah, blah. my biggest goal in life was to be the best father ever.
Yeah.
Why? Because I didn't grow up with that. I mean, me and my dad have a good relationship now, but I wasn't allowed to meet my dad till I was damn near an adult, So I've always wanted to break that stigma about black men being absent fathers. So my goal is to raise two outstanding human beings that are successful in life and they're good people. So it's like, all right, I've done so much. I've been EJ Brooks, the athlete, since I was 11 years old.
Mm-hmm.
36, right? So it's like my next chapter is like, what am I gonna do with these kids? How successful can I be as a father? Like, how can I raise my daughter to be a great woman? How can I raise my son to be a great man? And I'm really looking forward to that. Like, I'm looking forward to going to soccer games, baseball games, family trips, and stuff like that. Like, being a dad.
Yeah.
Like, that's exciting to me. So, like, right now, honestly, tell you the truth, if I wasn't in expensive grad school right now, I probably wouldn't be fighting. I'd probably just be doing jiu-jitsu. But it's just like, you know what?
Try to get some easy checks.
Yeah, I'm Jax.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah, because, man, I just think of just everything that goes into doing the thing. And realistically, I mean, what are you able to dedicate, like 2 months a year to fighting?
Basically. I got about like 4 months at that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The fuck, bro.
Come in, get in shape, make some calls. Like, all right, step in there.
Yeah. I mean, the beauty is you know how to fight.
Yeah.
You've been fighting for so long. It's not like you have to learn how to fight,
Yeah.
right?
Just got to get in shape.
You just have to be in shape so you can go do the thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just,
Trust me, I'm almost done.
You
I
know,
told you, I'm almost done, man.
Luckily, dude, you do a very good job of staying out of harm's way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm not going to. Yeah, I've only been hurt twice.
Yeah, man, but
yeah.
like, you're never been the type of wrestler who forces the wrestling. You know, a lot of wrestlers, they don't like to stand, and you try to force.
Yeah, I learned how to fight.
Yeah, like you're cool. Like, oh man, you're sorry. I'll sit here and stay just out of range, and we'll kind of trade here a little bit. And just like, you're not trying to necessarily beat them up on the feet, but you're like, all right, we're gonna get these exchanges, and then when it gets to time, like, I'm gonna slam you, like take you down and do the thing. But like, you're not forcing it, right? So you're comfortable on your feet, which makes it to where you don't take unnecessary damage or put yourself in bad situations, which is why you're still able to to do it. But it's like, fuck, dude. I think about those leg kicks. I don't want to get leg kicked. I don't want to get leg kicked, bro. You eat 4 or 5 leg kicks, and then after the fight, you fucking limping. It hurts. Or you land a couple, and then maybe you hit an elbow or catch a knee. Or
I'm pretty good at checking. I would say
a check will hurt you too.
If you don't do it right, yeah.
Dude.
What I hate
hurting your body.
Honestly, the only thing I hate with fighting, not even the fight, is just the weight cut.
Yeah.
That's the shit I'm tired of.
Yeah.
I'm tired of it, bro.
You fight 215 now, bro.
Yeah, right.
You might as well. Shit. Some big dudes, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You just need to quit going to Russia.
Oh, yeah, not happening.
Yeah.
I'm not doing
Fight
that.
just here in America. You should try to get on one of these. They probably won't pay you enough. That's the problem. But you should try to get on one of these fight hards that Zach Cummings is doing. I think he did one in Kansas, and he's doing one down in Springfield.
Yeah, he is. Isn't he working with Jared, though? I thought he was working with Jared with that.
I don't know if Jared has anything to do with that.
Yeah, I haven't fought locally, and actually the last one was on when it was Fight Me.
Yeah.
That's the last time I had a fight in St. Louis.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying,
It was
man.
over 10 years ago.
Try to get on one of those. Then you don't got to go anywhere.
To be honest,
Be a
I
lot
probably
easier.
would. I'd probably hit up Shamrock for my retirement fight.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, you'll sell that out.
Probably, So probably in a couple years, I'm done. Be like, hey,
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. Be easier than traveling halfway around the fucking world.
Well, I'd want all friends and family to be there.
Yeah.
So it was like go to the biggest promotion in St. Louis and be like, hey.
I'll do that for the last 2 fights.
Nah, just my last one. Just my last one.
Just the last one?
Just the last one, yeah.
I'm just saying, bro. Why you want to go all over the world?
Well, I know they're not going to pay me much. You know what I'm
they're
saying?
not
So
gonna
it's just like.
But your ticket sales, you'll crush the ticket sales, and that's where you'll make up the difference. You're not getting any ticket sales anywhere you go.
I ain't worried about all that.
Yeah.
But I like traveling.
Yeah.
So.
It's less to worry about.
Yeah,
Just
less to worry about.
Go do the thing.
You're going to fly me to Argentina, Canada, Italy, Australia.
Yeah.
Like all places I've been. I'm just like, right now I'm talking to this organization overseas because I want to fight in Africa. So I'm hoping I get fight over in one of those African countries.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Another place to go. Man, cutting weight, traveling, that's gotta be tough.
It is.
On the road.
Oh, I'm gonna fight up.
You're gonna fight up?
Yeah. The good thing is, as long as I'm not fighting a Russian, when you travel overseas, they're not as skilled.
Yeah.
So you can fight a heavier guy. 'Cause I'm just gonna go take him down. So I go to one of these African countries. If it's somebody who's native of one of those countries, he ain't gonna have my wrestling.
No.
He's gonna be tough.
Oh yeah.
Probably strong.
Probably.
But I'm just gonna take him down.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get paid good.
Yeah.
So.
It's not a bad move.
No.
Collect some checks.
I hope it. Yeah. I made more money overseas than I ever did here.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, that was one thing I never did was travel and fight.
That was like my main motivation.
It was like one of my main motivations, and it was just kind of a thing that I did get offered to go to Israel. I didn't have my passport though. I know.
That would have been dope.
Would have been so dope.
Yeah.
It was so dope.
I think
Bellator said you had to have the passport in hand.
I was supposed to fight in Sweden.
Yeah.
And I was so stoked for that, and then the card got canceled because somebody who was over like finances in the company got hit like with a scandal with the government, so they like froze the whole company.
Oh, really?
And shut down like their next 3 shows. I was fucking pissed.
After having traveled and done some jiu-jitsu tournaments around the country, I don't enjoy traveling and competing.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. Because, it's not as fun as it sounds. You're hanging out in hotels, you're just kind of waiting around. You're waiting all day for the event. It's just anxiety.
Anxiety's motherfucker.
Anxiety. Yeah. And then it's like the event's done, and then it's like, all right, now we can maybe eat some food, and then we're leaving.
In the morning. Early flights too and shit.
So it's never like this thing to where you get to go and enjoy the place relaxed. Especially if you do have time to go walk around and sightsee and shit. There's always this heavy feeling.
Yeah.
Of we're about to go do this thing.
Yeah. Especially with a fight.
Yeah. So it's not like a fun experience. So I realized, I'm like, this isn't that fun. Like doing this thing. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I would say
but I also
the only way you have a good time is after weigh-ins. So like basically if we're at a fight, we weigh in Friday morning. Mm-hmm. So I've got my weight off. I can start eating this, and then I can enjoy the whole day. Mm-hmm. Then go to sleep. Then stress all Saturday about the fight that's going to happen. Have that fight. Win that fight. Get my check, and then I've got a few hours to go to the after party, do this and blah, blah, and then get back to my hotel because I got an early morning flight back to where the fuck I'm going.
Yeah.
So I always say, like, you got all day of the weigh-in day and the night of the fight to enjoy being wherever you at for the last 4 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's better than nothing.
Better than nothing, yeah.
It is better than nothing.
I've had some good times.
But, yeah, it's, yeah. I mean, I'm a little skewed, too. I'm just over competing.
No, I understand.
You're like, I love competing. I'm just like, I am on the opposite side of that coin.
We are in
our
mid-30s, and like I said, for some people, they done sooner. I'm just not completely done just yet.
Yeah, but the ego wants you to go do it. Oh, it says.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. That means your testosterone is still up.
It says go fuck them up, baby. I look at people. I'm like, you're not looking at me with the right respect. I said, you're looking at me like I'm just a jiu-jitsu guy. Like, I don't fuck people up.
Yeah, you can. You're a pretty decent fighter, man. Oh, crazy.
My God. Dude, I'm doing this knees over toe shit right now. Like, I've had limited range of motion in my ankles for the longest time, so I've been very deliberate on fixing this, and I'm making really good progress. And as a result, I'm kind of feeling it up the chain, like in my knees and my hips and shit. So I'm also focusing on just really strengthening all throughout the process. So are you familiar with the knees over toes guy? Here, actually, ironically, I have his book sitting right here. He has like a program. It's just like a program. This dude apparently fucked up his knees, and through just trial and tribulation, and he figured out this system here. It's just all real simple shit. And now this dude's like dunking. He's like around our age. He's like a crazy athlete. And he's helped a lot of people fix their knees post-surgery and different shit. So I'm doing a lot of that. And the other day I was just kind of jumping. I'm like, man, I feel like as I'm fixing my ankles, I'm really tapping into a little bit more of my athletic ability that maybe I didn't have whenever I was younger because I just didn't have the proper mechanics. I feel like I was jumping really fucking high. So, man, to the ego part, it's like, man, I think I could probably go in there and fuck some people up. Really, I'm only 34, EJ. I can go fuck people up. Still.
Yeah.
Probably better than wherever I stopped 5 years ago because I'm way better at jiu-jitsu now and I haven't taken any damage really. And man, I feel fast. I feel sharp. I'm in great shape. And I just feel like I can hurt people.
What was your last fight? Was that when you fought Dowdy?
No, my last fight was on Shamrock. I fought Shell Irwin Davis. And we were on, so he submitted me in a triangle. He tripped me on the cage, took me down. I omoplata swept him. I was on top. He threw me in a triangle. I spun around, got out, and I just kind of sat in his guard with my head down, and he put me in a triangle again, and I didn't want to fight anymore. And I tapped.
Just like, I'm done.
I did not want to fight. Before that, I lost to Zach Bucia. Same deal. Like, I took him down. I had his back. He did a really good job defending the rear naked. He got out. Instead of resetting, I just fell off, and then he mounted me, took my back, and then TKO'd me, like just pounding. Not even hard shots.
Just steady.
I didn't want to be there anymore. And after that fight, I stopped fighting after the Shell one. I was like, you know what? I just don't want this because nothing against Shell, but I'm better than that dude. And he's a good fighter. Like he's a gamer. He'll show up, but his jiu-jitsu is not better than mine. It's just not. So I just realized in that moment, I'm like, man, when you get in these hard moments, you just quit twice. You're physically in great shape. You're saying the right things. Like camp went well. Weight cut was amazing, but I just didn't want to fight. So I'm just like, I don't want that shit. And I realized that about myself.
What's the name just did that? That's why he retired. Cowboy.
Oh, Cowboy. Yeah, man. He didn't want it no more.
He even said he's like in the. He said in the Conor McGregor fight, like I was looking for a reason to get out of there.
Yeah.
It's like I could see it on his face. Before he admitted that, I saw it.
Yeah.
Because I've seen it.
You have to want it. Because when shit gets crazy, if you don't want it, you're going to quit. And that's what I did. Yep. So that's what I just realized about myself. I'm like, man, I just don't want it.
Yeah. Fighting is not something that you can just get in the cage and just do. You got to want to be there.
Yeah, but that ego says it. It's just like, you know what, just go do it. Just go. But when time gets crazy, nope. Not really.
They lock that door, them lights on.
Yeah. I learned that with jiu-jitsu. Going and competing with jiu-jitsu, I'll go and I'll have a tough match and I'll get done and I'm like, God, why did you fucking do that? You're so tired. You're so exhausted. You're in shape. Why are you getting so tired? It doesn't even make sense how tired I'm getting. Just because it's from the anxiety, from the nerves of just like not wanting to go do this thing and then just doing it anyway. I don't like it.
You know, I when I'm competing, to deal with nerves and anxiety, I talk about everything but what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you've been with me. Like, we'll be in the back of a fight show, and I'm talking about girls, candy, TV, other sports, this and that. And all of a sudden, someone like, oh, you got to hit mitts. We up in, like, 15 minutes. Like, all right, cool.
Yeah, let's go.
Like, because if you think about it all day, it's just going to stress you out physically.
Yeah.
And you're just going to zap yourself. So I just really try to take my mind somewhere else and just try not to think. Because when I do, like, it could be a guy that I know I'm finna go kick his ass.
Yeah.
Which is even the worst, you know, because you underestimate somebody. But, like, I will get this, like, feeling like, oh, shit, like, am I going to beat this person? Like, everybody at home watching, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, if I lose, everybody's going to see this. And they're going to remember it. It's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be that. And I'm like, you know, so I try not to have those thoughts. So it's like, what's on TV? Let's go do this, go do that. Let's talk about this.
Yeah.
And I won't shut up. I won't shut up. If you with me and we're to fight, if I'm up, not sleeping, if I'm not napping, we are talking.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about anything fight related.
Right.
Because I got to keep my mind off that damn fucking fight.
There's just this pressure and intensity that comes with competing. It's like, do you like to deal with it?
No. But I do a good job handling it, but I don't like it.
This is the kind of shit people don't talk about. All the couch warriors.
Yeah.
They don't like to acknowledge this kind of stuff.
No, they don't. Everybody thinks they can fight, so they actually.
It's mental. A lot of it, man. So much of it's just mental.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta be able to deal with the anxiety, and like you said, wanting to be there.
Yeah.
You know, you get into a fight and then somebody hits you back, and you're like, oh shit. You know, this ain't the pads I was hitting. This ain't the bag I was hitting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this ain't the dude that's not on my level at the gym that I've been piecing up for the last few months. This is another quality guy, grown ass man in here, trying to take my head off, and he ain't playing with me.
We're not friendly.
No.
Right.
Yeah, he don't care if he hurts me.
No, dude, you can see it in a person's eyes. They look at you with no regard. And they're just like, I'm going to fucking hurt you.
Dude, I'm
doing the same thing, but
I don't really give a shit about like the face off. You know, when you standing there, some people looking tough. Like I've laughed when guys have like tried to look tough and shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's just another thing for me. I'm just looking at you. I'm like, whatever. I've never felt anything in a stare down except for laughter. Except for one time. This motherfucker. I fought this Russian in Italy. And I had found out after this that he was a former hitman. This is after that. But we do our face off. And he was staring. It felt like he was staring into my soul, bro. And I was like, damn, this motherfucker looks scary. Like nobody, I fought better fighters, probably tougher fighters. Nobody had ever put any kind of fear in me, not even slightly. And he did it for a split second. I didn't show it, but I was like, this motherfucker look like he want to kill me.
You felt it.
That's what I'm saying. Like the way he looked at me, and it wasn't like a false bravado kind of thing. It was like he walked up real like, nigga, I'm coming to kill you tomorrow.
Yeah.
And like no break in his face the way he was looking at me, and I'm just looking like, oh shit. I almost started laughing. That's the crazy thing, because I was like, oh shit, like because he was a little taller. But I'm like, oh shit, this motherfucker for real. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So then, I was just like, I remember telling Rob after, I was like, man, bro, like, dude was intense. And he's like, yeah, dude, a bad motherfucker. So I'm gonna curse. I need to stop cursing.
I curse way too much.
Yeah, I end up beating him.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And then after the fight, the promoters were like, yo, the Russians ain't happy you won that fight because it was a close fight.
Mm-hmm.
And the promoter, he was Scottish. Okay, so he wasn't like with, you know, the Russian group or whatever. He's like, don't go to the after party. He's like, matter of fact, you might want to stay in your room.
Yeah.
And I was like, that shit was scary because I knew he was serious.
Mm.
And like they was walking around all mad and this and that, throwing shit. So they also paid us in cash. So I had racks on me. Like, let me explain that. So this how I'm not even gonna drop the organization I was fighting for, but it was an international organization. So they like, it's time to get paid. I'm like, all right, cool. So the president of the organization was the president of a country over there.
Mm.
You know, small country over there near Russia. So I was like, okay. So me and Rob, we go get paid, and they take us to this hallway. It's two dudes outside the door with AK-47s. Big ass motherfuckers. AK-47s. I'm like, all right, cool. We walk in the room. President of the organization is sitting on a couch. Right as soon as you walk in, there's two more guys, AK-47s. All right? You walk past them. He's in the back of the room sitting on a couch. There are mountains of cash in different currencies. Okay? So you got yen over here. You got pound over here. You got American money right here and this and that. And I'm like, you walking around these motherfuckers. All right? And I'm like, this is crazy. And he also wasn't happy I won.
Mm.
Okay?
Is that the most amount of money you've ever seen?
Hell yeah. Like, not even close. Like, I guarantee you, I was looking
Millions and millions of dollars.
Millions in different currencies. Like, when I check, like, you see how big this table is?
Yeah. Like that in American dollars.
And it was taller than this. It was about this wide and taller than this table.
Goddamn.
And every different, there were at least 6 different currencies in there.
Probably
stacked up.
$6-7 million.
And I'm sitting here like, bro, like he had, so 2 dudes outside the door, 2 dudes right inside the door when you walk in, And there was at least another 4 or 6 guys in that room with him.
Shit.
With all this money. And I remember, dude came up, you won, right? And I was like, yeah. He was like, okay, so here's this show, and then this. And I'm like, all right, cool. And then I was like, thank you, sir, to the dude. He was like, and I put my hand out, and he didn't want to shake my hand. And he didn't make eye contact with me.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like disrespecting me, but I'm like,
did you just leave it at that?
I'm like, I got my money, and these motherfuckers got AKs. Let me go. I'm like, all right, bro, bitch ass nigga. And I walked, and then I walked out. So I'm in the room, and I put my money on the bed, and I was like, damn. My first thought was, I should take a picture or a video and stunt. But I was like, damn, I ain't got to pay taxes on this. And they might be watching. So I didn't.
Yeah.
So then I took one and just took a picture of it and then put it back. And then, so I'm sitting here with all this cash, and I'm like, bro, like, how we going to get this back?
Because that can be a problem.
Yeah, because, like, you got to claim. Damn, I need to stop talking about this shit. So anyway.
That's true. You come back cash, you got to claim X amount.
Yeah. Like, if I think it's over $9,000.
I don't know what the number
It's something
is.
like that. I had more than that, obviously.
But you can split between you and Rob.
We still would have had a problem.
No, still.
Okay, yeah, because I'm not going to disclose how much it was. It was stupid. So, anyway, they tell me don't go to the after party. And I'm like, and they mad at me. I got all this cash on me. What if they, like, popped in my room and robbed my ass?
Yeah.
And I'm in a foreign country. Like, the police don't work like that over here.
I would have left. I would be like, hey, Rob, we got to get our shit, and we got to fucking go.
We did.
Oh, good move.
We did. Packed up my shit. Left.
Yeah, where nobody knows.
Yeah, we stayed out all night.
Oh, I would have went and found, like, a new hotel room.
We didn't even, well, I thought about doing that, but I was like,
I
I didn't trust them to, like, not give away my location. Like, if they put out, like, hey, we looking for these black Americans, and somebody was like, oh, they was at this hotel. Well, they wouldn't check every hotel. So we stayed out all night, and then we slept on the beach. And then came back when the bus was leaving for our flight the next morning. Because I just didn't trust they weren't going to, you know.
I get it. Yeah, know, they know where you are. People can come into your room at the middle of the night.
Crazy, man. Crazy.
Ooh, that's scary, dude. You're in a foreign land, and anything can happen.
And, you know, and to be honest, you know, like I tell people, y'all don't understand how good you got it here in America. Like, people really try to, like, shit on America and say, like, oh, we don't got this, or they treat us like this. And I'm like, bro, you need to travel.
Yeah.
You really need to travel. Like, I know you on this Black Lives Matter this and, you know, police brutality this and that. I'm like, bro, like, when you go overseas, like, they hate Americans. They like us, though. That's the crazy thing. They like African Americans. They don't like non-African Americans.
Really?
Americans. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, actually, that same night, we went to a club. So, we rode, we left our bags in the car. These white Americans had a rental car. So we rode with them to a club or whatever. And we get in the club, we got VIP, and like me and Rob was just chilling. You know, like he was married at the time. Obviously, I had my girl. So we weren't trying to pick up chicks. We were just, trying to kill time because we're not going back to the hotel. And these two white American fighters or whatever, good looking guys, no homo, seemed like cool dudes. They was like trying to fire on these girls. The girls were kind of like ignoring them. And one of the guys goes like, what's up? Hey, we're from America. And this girl turned around and was like, so? She's like, that's what's wrong with you, America. You think people supposed to give a fuck that you're American? And I'm like, oh, shit.
This is because they're jealous they're not American.
Maybe, I don't know. But no, like she really felt that way. Yeah. So, I don't know. Somehow me and that girl started talking because she was really going off on him. And I kind of like broke it up like, hey, you know, he didn't mean no offense. It's like we're in a foreign country. They don't know how to talk to people. She was like, well, you know, we just hate how like Americans come over here and they think everybody's supposed to speak English. Everybody here speaks Spanish. Like I luckily speak English. You know, not everybody here is supposed to speak your language. And a lot of American people come over here and expect us to like go against our culture to accommodate them and this and that. And like everything she was saying made a lot of sense. I was
Hmm.
like, I can see that. You know,
Yeah.
she like actually we like you guys. You know, and I knew she meant by you guys
You guys,
as in
you
black
black
folks.
guys.
Yeah, and I was just like, yeah, you know. But I tell people all the time, like, man, I've been to many different countries, and I've seen how they do things, and I appreciate that I come from this country.
Hmm.
It's not perfect. Have my people been oppressed before? Yes, they've been slaves. They've been this. They've been that. You know, but at the end of the day, I couldn't imagine living anywhere else.
Yeah.
You know, so you know, like I said, this country ain't perfect. They have their
No,
flaws,
there's a lot of
but
things.
we got it good, man.
Yeah.
You think about the best country you think you could live in, and I promise you, we probably still got it better over here than we would there.
Yeah, the thing is, you know, I'm always conflicted because to your point, this is a really sweet spot.
Hmm.
We have a lot of cool things going for us. What's conflicting is how the leaders of the country, they don't really seem to be doing what's in the best interest of the people or the country. So as a country, it doesn't seem like we're actually really trying to be we like to say we're the best, but we're not really trying to be the best. You know what I mean? Which is so conflicting because in the same breath, that doesn't mean that we don't have a lot of really good things going for us, and the freedoms that we do have aren't awesome. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, do we even have like country like self pride?
Yeah, what's wrong with patriotism and being proud to be an American?
Yeah, I don't feel like we have it.
No,
I feel like
and that's a
this
problem.
generation shits on our country way more than it praises it, and I'm like, you really don't realize how good you got it. Like
Right.
nothing's going to be perfect.
Mm-mm.
You know, people are going to be like, oh gosh, I don't want to talk about her that much, but like
Yeah.
the Britney
Yeah.
situation over in Russia. First of all, you just went to another country where that stuff is illegal, where they don't support your lifestyle. Personally,
That's the unique thing about that whole part of the world,
uh,
especially with the war going on and
mhm,
everything. The people that are in most support of the thing, like Ukraine and everything, it's so ironic that that part of the world does not support, would never support them back.
mhm.
Like they don't have gay rights in that part of the country. They don't really have women's rights in that part of the country. There's not religious freedom in that part of the country. It's like you need to be a white male. And I think it's a lot of, I don't know what the religion is in that part of the world, but I'm pretty sure it's not Christianity.
It's there
I don't
is
know if it's Muslim or,
it's small part is Muslim and another one is Christian, but it's like
but either way, it's not this
it's
diverse.
hardcore,
It's not this diverse, open-minded group of like part of the world
not
where
open-minded at
freedom is
all,
just
not open-minded
reigning,
at all.
and we just apply our own
Yeah,
ideals
and that's what
onto
I'm
it.
thinking. I'm like, you went to a country where they I'm not gonna say frown upon. Like women don't have rights. Okay, so not only do they frown upon an American woman who has the freedom to be who she wants to be, coming over to their country and feeling that she can have those same freedoms. They're like, no, you're in Russia. Our women act this way and abide by these rules, and you will too.
Hmm.
And it's kind of arrogant, I would say, for
Yeah,
some people to go over to another country and feel they can move as if they move in our country. So
but EJ, she's done it before.
I know I'm gonna get to
She's
that.
done it
I'm
before.
gonna get to that. So it's like you live this lifestyle. You are who you are. You live your truth. Okay? You live your truth in America. You go over here. You have to know that they don't support your truth as a person. You like to indulge in this herb, okay? You can do it over here in this country, and over here, they don't support that. Okay, so you already got two strikes against you that they are letting go. Now, they're in a political situation with this country. Your home country ain't supporting that. Matter of fact, they backing the people who they
We're,
beefing with.
we're in war with Russia. People don't want to say that, but
I believe it. I just don't. I'm not going
if
to speak on it.
if we're providing weapons to Ukraine, who is in war with Russia, if my neighbor is fighting my other neighbor and then
And
I give my neighbor bullets,
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
is my one neighbor gonna be like, "No, you're cool, Adam. It's all good, bro. Don't worry about it."
So,
Like,
so guess what? You are a person of high value in this country. Like, I deliberately, was it Ukraine? Was it Ukraine? I was supposed to fight, I think, in Ukraine
oh really?
years ago, but they were either at war with somebody. I gotta go through my emails. But anyway, I was supposed to fight over there. I'm pretty sure it was Ukraine.
That part of the world.
And they were starting to have some issues. My manager's like, "You're not going." He's like, they just started some issue with somebody. They got bombed, this and that. And this was a while ago. It's like 4 or 5 years ago. And I was like, okay. But case in point, y'all got shit going on. I'm saying my motherfucking ass over here.
Yeah.
So you trying to get back home, shit going on over there, and they're like, oh, this American, she's a high value person.
Yeah.
Let's use her. That's what I think is going on.
Yeah, from my understanding, we have a very high level arms dealer for Russia. And the idea is to get her and try to trade people. So here's a political
So
pawn.
I want her back, but I feel like she gave them a reason to do what they did. And she had to be smarter than that.
Gotta be smarter than that.
Yeah. But at the same time, like, you know, think about, and people are like crapping on her about this. Like, you was one of the people, you know, kneeling, saying this country ain't shit, you know, excuse me, stuff like that. And with all that being said, we should still go get you.
Yeah.
This country should still back you. Even if you say, F this country, it ain't done nothing for me, blah, blah, blah. Like, at the end of the day, you still American citizen, we should come get you. But it's ironic that the same country that you shit on, because you feel like,
now you're begging.
You feel like they treat you unfairly, and that. Now you seeing what it's really like to be treated unfairly.
Right.
And be held against, and your rights being taken away from you
Right.
for no good fucking reason. And that country that you were shitting on, you want them to come save you. Like I was saying, you know, people be like, man, F the police. And then they get robbed, something happen, and then they call the police. You can't call the police. You just said F them.
Yeah.
You know, you can't say F the people who are hired to protect and serve you, and then when something happens, expect them to protect and serve you. They will, because they signed up for that. You know, that's what I always say, like, you know, there are some bad people in every industry, every job, every position of power. And there are some good people. You know, like me and you. We both have deadly skill sets. We could literally kill people with our bare hands. You know? But we know people with the same skill set who go to bars and look for fights. They look to use what they have to hurt people for no good reason. Those are bad people. Just because we have those same skill set, are we like those people?
No.
No. We good guys with dangerous skill sets. So you're going to have cops who have the power to protect and serve that will abuse that power. And then you have some who won't. But at the end of the day, we need them. We have political people who have the power to put things in order to protect us. And then we have some that take that money under the table and they do shit that don't affect them, but it's going to affect us.
Yeah, but isn't the idea that some jobs you can't have bad people? Like, you can't have bad apples in the police force.
No, you're right.
Like, we gotta
but
get
they're
rid of
going
those
to be
guys.
there.
Yeah.
I think that's something you're never going to get rid. That's just life, bro.
You don't think you can weed them out with a better system?
I
Better
don't-
training, better funding.
The only thing I'm going to say on that,
more stringent
the only thing I'm going to say on that
requirements.
is I truly believe to be to be a police officer, I think you need to have some kind of social training. I think you should at least spend 2 years getting associates, and you should be taking sociology and psychology, understanding about other demographics, how people think, how people interact in certain communities, because you'll have some uppity ass dude who has never seen a ghetto, a hood,
Yeah.
or like any kind of like urban situation, and then he'll get a job as a cop in the inner city, and then like he'll be faced with a situation and just like all he knows is to like pull out his gun because
Right.
he thinks he's in danger, but he's not.
He has no exposure.
Yeah, he has no exposure.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, bro, like I really feel like you should have some kind of, at least 2 years. 2 years of education of taking
There's a lot that needs to
classes
happen.
like that, and if not, at least have done some military time.
Military time would definitely help.
Yeah.
But more training, better pay. I mean, more stringent, I think, just requirements.
Education, like community service, like hey, go work in these communities before we give you a
Health
gun and a
check-ins.
badge. Let's make sure you're educated on how these communities work, and let's see you start like
Yeah.
putting your face out there.
I think we need to just build stronger communities. You know, I think a lot of the issues that we look at in America, like what can we do on the large scale? Like really, again back to that book. Like Wooden, I always point over there, but Wooden always talks about there are no big things. It's just all little things. All the little things add up to the big things.
Add up,
That's it. Like doing the little things perfectly and give all your effort. So if you take that to the country, obviously the political elite, they don't give a fuck about us. They're going to do whatever they want to do. They want us dependent on the state. They want us broke. They want us stupid. They want us like needing, right? But how do you combat that? You live an excellent life. Like you have to be the example in your community. You have to build a strong community. You have with the kids, right? Like you have to be the example and make other people around you better, and you have to build a stronger community, right? That's how we can actually make the change. So it's like if you want to be a police officer, then maybe you should live in the community that you're policing. So that way you can't live out in St. Peter's and then go be a police officer in the city. Can't do that. So then now we're policing our own communities. I think that would be a way to strengthen the community if we're policing our own communities.
Yeah.
But Black Panthers tried to do that. What happened? They all got fucking murdered. So I think there's examples of how it can work and should work. We got to strengthen the community for sure.
Yeah. Takes a village.
It really does, dude. I mean, getting involved in the school board, showing up to like, why are parents being labeled as domestic terrorists when they were going to stand up for their kids' rights to like not wear masks or like different things.
Oh, man.
So shit like that, I mean, getting involved with your local city council, getting on the board of things. We're so disconnected from our community. It's crazy. I think everybody wants to be a fucking superstar. Everybody wants to be a fucking
social media.
Yeah, everybody wants to be famous. You know what I mean? No, to the original point at the beginning of the conversation, nobody wants to be a plumber. Nobody wants to be an electrician. Nobody wants to just be a good, upstanding citizen of the community and just go work your job and just provide for your family and just have a good life. Like everything needs to be the rich and the famous and the extra. And don't get me wrong, you're talking to a guy who's trying to rack up billions, bro. I'm not fucking playing. Like I'm trying to rack this shit, but I really want to create. I want to create American manufacturing. I want to create fucking jobs. Like I want to really change the footprint of this city. I really that's my vision, but it all starts with the community, and I think if we all just took more pride,
the community and at home, I feel like parents are slacking. As somebody who works in education and coaches, parents these days, especially my generation of parents, because a lot of people around my age got teens now because they had kids, between 16 and 22.
Yeah, same. Me.
So they're young. They're young parents. They want to be cool with their kids. I got kids, bro. They literally smoke weed with their parents.
No, my kids call me strict.
Yeah,
I'm strict.
And I'm like, how can I get your kid to focus? And he's doing drugs with you.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
During the school year, during the season. Like I've literally had kids come in, and I'm like, "Are you high?" Like, "Oh yeah, me and my dad smoked before I came to school." What? Like, are you serious, dude?
Yeah.
And then like,
it's like kids raising kids.
I got this. Oh, I can't go into too much detail.
Yeah, but you're seeing things that are frustrating.
Yeah, I got kids. They mama on Facebook. Always talking about partying, always talking about this man and that man. And these kids, they come to school, they dirty. Like, before we have matches, I make them shower and put on fresh, like, gear because they clothes stink. And I'm like, y'all go home every day. And y'all come to school stinking because y'all don't wash y'all clothes.
Mm-hmm.
and your mama on Facebook talking about how she turning up tonight or tomorrow. It's a freaking Wednesday. She talking about turning up tonight, and you smell like piss. I need you to give me these clothes, put them in. I literally will put their clothes in the bag, get them fresh stuff to wear. They'll go compete. I say, take that home, bring it back tomorrow, and then the next day I give them their clothes, had to wash them, and like that's the type of stuff I'm dealing with. But it's like so many of these parents don't want to be parents. They got the kid, they got the check, but they don't want to do like, oh, my kid not doing what he doing at school, he ain't a problem. Like basically, if your kid ain't a problem at home, you don't care.
Right.
You know, school calling me, I ain't trying to hear that.
Yeah. No standards where they were never raised.
Bro, I tell you this. So I'm at this school, and it's not the school I'm at now. Okay, so I was at the school, and this girl I happen to know from my community. She was older than me. Okay. So her son is supposed to be a senior, right? And she didn't really know me personally, but I knew of her because she was an older, pretty attractive girl that I was like, oh man, you know. Parent-teacher conferences. Now, I'm handing out the report cards for sophomores. She goes to the senior pile. His stuff not in there. She go to the junior pile. Stuff not in there. I was like, no fucking way. And I knew her son's name, so I'm looking. I see him. I'm like, oh shit. I pull his report card out. I set it right here. She was like, hey, Emanuel. I'm like, what's up? She was like, you got my son report card? I'm like, yeah, it's right here. And she was like, how is he only a sophomore? And my first thought in my head is, you so detached from your son's education that you didn't know he was 2 years behind. When was the last time you was at a parent-teacher conference? Because we give you your report card every time.
Yeah.
So you ain't been here in 2 years? And I was there like, what the hell? So I was talking to my boys. I told him, I called him. He's like, oh, bro, like all she do is party and this and that. And she an alcoholic and blah, blah, blah. And I felt so bad for the boy because I knew his daddy. His daddy was a few years older than me. So I think he was a senior when I was a freshman because his mama was out of high school when I got to high school. And his daddy wasn't shit. So I was like, this kid has already been failed because he had an ain't shit daddy. And obviously his mama ain't shit either.
How many kids are out there like that? They just
a ton of
they
them.
just never stand a chance.
Man.
I look at that even in regards to maybe you have a more stable environment, but your parents never taught you how to value like working hard or exercising or eating well. Like maybe you still had I think there's just so many ways that people fail their kids. You know what I mean? Like they don't give them any sort of standards. I mean, you're talking about the most basic form of just paying the fuck attention and caring.
Yeah.
That's terrible. Right?
Yeah, like, just go to school. These kids, they don't understand, man. Just go to school. You got it so easy. They don't understand. They got it so easy. You don't have to pay rent. You ain't got to pay no bills. You ain't got to buy the food.
Yeah.
You know, especially if your mama on state aid. Okay? So she getting a check for you.
Yeah.
The government is paying for you.
But now you've been mentally conditioned.
From what?
Well, if that's all you've ever seen, you've never seen anybody actually work for anything.
Well, yeah, that too, but that goes in the lesson. Like my mama, she was on state aid, but she worked. Okay?
Yeah.
So, and she taught me good lessons. She wouldn't give me money.
Yeah.
You know, like, it was basically like, if I wanted something, you boy better go cut somebody's grass. And if I really needed something, she would always make me go work for it. And if I couldn't get it, she'd either give me what I needed left or just give it to me. But she wanted to make sure I worked for it first.
Right.
And
opposed to the other kid who's...
The other kids was getting something. Like,
the
to
mom,
be honest...
No, I'm saying the mom's not even seeing what grade you're fucking in. There's nothing there.
I think I am one of the most successful people from my neighborhood because of the lessons my mama taught me. Like, I'll have people say, oh, well, you know, he wasn't that dude in high school. Yes, I was. Anybody who knew me knew I am now. Well, I ain't gonna say now because I'm a man now. But growing like in my 20s and this and that, when I was really living my best life, I was exactly who I was in high school. But you didn't know me. You knew me at high school, not in high school. When I walked through those doors, I was about business. Okay? I was about my sports, my grades.
Yeah.
All right? All that extra shit, like showing off for people and stuff like that, nah, I ain't need to do that. Because I knew where I was going.
What does it mean he wasn't that dude?
Like, basically, oh, he a pretty boy now. Like, he wasn't that.
Were you supposed to be in your final form in high school?
Right, exactly. So it's like, what I'm getting at with this is like, I was never dirty. I was never lame. I was always at the top of, like, I would say the popularity class, but I wasn't at the top.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, I was an athlete, honor roll student, decently good looking dude, but I wasn't a dude wearing fresh J's, the best top designer stuff and this and that. I had a single mother raising me and 3 other kids by herself. So it was like, school getting ready to start, I need some cool basic Nikes. Like, we would go to Foot Locker or Foot Action and it'd be 2 for $78. A pair of Reeboks, a pair of Nikes. All right. I just cut some grass. I made $50. Mom, I got $50. You give me 20. I'm gonna get a pair of black shoes and a pair of white shoes. You know what I'm saying? I'm straight.
Yeah.
Oh, you gave me another 50. I'm finna go get a pair of jeans, 3 shirts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it was like, I didn't need to spend. I just took about $100. Got 2 pair of shoes, pair of jeans, and 3 shirts. Somebody else is taking $100, get a brand new pair of Jordans.
That's it.
And that's it. Then, Mom, I need this. So then your mama is out doing other things to make other money that you don't find out till you get older, or you know.
Yeah.
Like, I saw dudes' mamas out here selling themselves because they kids wanted, not needed, the top stuff. So you okay with your mama having Mr. Fred come over for about 20 minutes to make a few $100s so you can have a brand new pair of J's? When I'm over here like, man, my mama working a night shift. I'm cooking and cleaning while she at work taking care of my siblings just so she can pay bills? Hell no, I'm not finna have her doing anything extra just so I can have the top of the line shoes. So guess what? I worked for everything I had. I made sure I was decent when I was in school. And when I graduated high school, those skills that I learned of learning how to work for stuff and not overspending, as a grown man, I've always had decent things. And those people who never learned how to earn something, look where they are now.
Yeah, that's the difference between, being taught the right things.
Yeah. And I'm just like, bro, like, I've always been that dude.
Yeah.
You just didn't know me,
Yeah, man, you're not supposed to be where you're supposed to be in high school. That's for fuck's sake.
Yeah, if you peak in high school, man, that's just...
No, man.
Yeah.
Nobody knows who they even are in high school.
You don't.
Like,
you really don't.
Like, you kind of have an idea, but you're just figuring it out, man.
Yeah, and I think, like, oh, man, like, I'm finding myself.
We always are, man. Constantly.
You dating this girl, you hanging out with these people, and it's just, like, just switching all the time.
You're figuring out what your truths are. Sometimes you start, or not start, but sometimes you just stop lying to yourself throughout life. Like, you'll think a thing, and then you'll be like, do I think that? And you'll go against the thing, and then one day you'll just be like, you know what? I do think that. And then you'll just accept. You just accept yourself, and you'll be like, you know what? I am goofy, and I like fucking pop music. Mm-hmm. Who gives a shit?
I used to have to hide my CDs. I'd have like Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, bro. And now you'd be like, listen, y'all want to listen to this new shit? Just
new Blink 182.
Bro,
yeah, they back.
Listen, I fucking jams. The kids think I'm so silly, bro. This Ed Sheeran song. Mm-hmm. I can't even think of what it is.
Is it new?
It's on the radio all the time, but it's like leading to bad habits, or I can't think of the fucking name. If I had I'd look. But dude, I'm just like, I'm just jamming, bro. Like I don't give a fuck. I'm the most corny person because it's just like, life is so short. Just live your authentic self.
Yeah,
Whatever
exactly.
the fuck that means.
If
I don't
you can't
care.
deal with my corniness, if my nickname was White Boy when I was in school, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, it is what it is. I'll beat your ass, though.
You're you. That's it, man.
Which was
Just be
really
you.
funny because I'm on this ghetto wrestling team. You know, we like brothers. I'm still tight with my high school wrestling team, and we had some goons on that squad.
Yeah.
And we would walk in the gym, and I'm the most professional. Like, I was raised in the church, so I didn't curse a lot growing up. And I talked proper. I could read. By the time I was in kindergarten, my mom was really on my education. So, like, because I wasn't cursing all the time as a kid, and I was pronouncing words correctly, my friends just call me White Boy. And I'm just like, your parents let you curse in front of them. You practice cursing when they're not around. Like, I don't do that, So, anyway, we would walk in the gyms, and people would be shocked that I'm the leader of this group of dudes because I'm the most nice-looking, smiling, you know what I'm saying? And my boys say, like, EJ's the baddest motherfucker out of all of us. Like, don't let his cool, calm demeanor and that smile fool you. He will beat your ass.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the baddest one over here. And we some bad dudes, but I'm the baddest one. And why? Because I didn't have to show that. I didn't have to put on this bravado and pretend that I was something I wasn't.
Yeah.
But it's just like, hey, man.
Confidence is quiet, man. That's why young men are so dangerous.
Yeah.
Those loud ones who need to bolster and post.
The loudest one is the weakest one.
Always.
Always.
EJ, let's wrap this up, dude.
All right, bro.
We've been going for 2 hours.
Oh, shit. Man, that's true.
I don't know. You probably got places to be. The Wi-Fi wasn't where you're at. Is there anything coming up or any place you want to tell the people to check you out at or anything?
All my handles are ejizzle149, all of them, literally.
I just wish you would change that.
I
told you so many times.
I can't.
Yes, you can.
It's too far in the
You
game.
I changed it to Coach Brooks.
No,
Coach Brooks 618.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Maybe make some more.
Hey, that's a good handle, bro.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, anyway. All right. All right, everybody. Till next time.
All right.